Lenin Peak, a mountain of dreams and danger. Towering over the Pamir Mountains, Lenin Peak beckoned adventurers. At 7,134 meters, it was a prize for climbers. In July 1990, an international team of climbers set their sights on the summit. They were drawn to its challenge, its beauty, and its promise of glory. Little did they know, the mountain held a dark secret. It was a place of dreams, but also a place of danger. The climbers, a mix of seasoned veterans and eager novices, were prepared for the physical demands. They trained for months, their bodies hardened, their minds focused. They were ready to face the altitude, the cold, and the unknown. But no amount of preparation could prepare them for the terror that awaited. The climbers arrived at base camp filled with anticipation. They could feel the mountain's presence, its power palpable in the thin air. They joked, they shared stories, they formed bonds. They were a team, united by their shared passion. Their goal to stand on the summit, to conquer the giant. They were filled with a sense of excitement, of camaraderie, of invincibility. But the mountain was waiting, watching and listening. It would soon remind them of its power, its indifference to their dreams. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Infinity for more gripping true stories from history and beyond. The ascent to Camp 2 began. Step by step, they ascended the slopes of Lenin Peak. The air grew thinner, the temperature plummeted. The climbers pushed themselves, their bodies working in unison. They established camps along the way, temporary havens in the unforgiving environment. Camp 2, perched precariously at 6,100 meters, offered a brief respite. It was a place to rest, to recover, to prepare for the final push. From their vantage point, they could see the summit, tantalizingly close. The climbers felt a surge of confidence, a belief that victory was within their grasp. The routine at Camp 2 was monotonous. Melt snow for drinking water, eat freeze-dried meals, zip and unzip layers of clothing against the biting cold. But there was a sense of camaraderie, a shared experience that transcended language and culture. They were a team, united in their quest. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the snow, a sense of unease settled over the camp. The wind picked up, whipping the tents with icy gusts. The temperature dropped further, the cold seeping into bones. The mountain was restless. The storm hit suddenly. The wind howled, a ferocious beast unleashed. Snow swirled around the tents, blinding and suffocating. The climbers huddled inside, their hearts pounding in their chests. The mountain was angry. Then it happened. A deafening roar. The ground trembled beneath them. A wall of snow, a monstrous wave, surged down the slopes, engulfing everything in its path. Camp 2 vanished in an instant. Tents were ripped from their moorings, climbers thrown like rag dolls. The air filled with the screams of the terrified and the dying. The avalanche, a force of unimaginable power, had struck. Darkness descended. The storm raged on, burying the camp under tons of snow and ice. For those who survived the initial impact, there was only terror and confusion. Trapped beneath the snow, they struggled to breathe, to free themselves from the icy grip. Some cried out for help, their voices muffled by the snow. Others lay silent, their bodies broken, their spirits crushed. The mountain had claimed its victims. Section 4. The Grim Aftermath, Searching for Survivors. As the storm subsided, a chilling silence fell over the mountain. The once bustling Camp 2 was gone, buried under a thick blanket of snow. The rescuers arrived, their faces grim, their hearts heavy. They knew the chances of finding survivors were slim, but they had to try. They had to bring closure to the families of the lost. The search began. They probed the snow with long poles, their eyes scanning for any sign of life. They dug frantically with shovels, their hands numb with cold. They found bodies. Some were mangled beyond recognition. Others were frozen in time, their expressions a mixture of terror and resignation. Each discovery brought a fresh wave of grief and despair. The rescuers worked tirelessly, but the odds were stacked against them. The mountain had claimed 43 lives that night. It was a tragedy of unimaginable proportions, a stark reminder of the power of nature. Section 5. Whispers in the Wind. Understanding the Avalanche. The mountaineering community was in shock. How could this have happened? What caused the avalanche? Experts were brought in to investigate. They studied the terrain, the weather patterns, the snow conditions. They searched for answers, for explanations, for a way to make sense of the tragedy. They concluded that a rare combination of factors had aligned that night. Heavy snowfall, strong winds, and unseasonably warm temperatures had created the perfect conditions for an avalanche. A deadly cocktail of nature's fury. The investigation provided some answers, but it couldn't bring back the dead. It couldn't erase the pain of their loss. The 1990 Lenin Peak Disaster would forever be etched in the annals of mountaineering history, a stark reminder of the risks inherent in challenging the world's highest peaks. Section 6. The Mountain's Toll, reflecting on the tragedy. In the wake of the disaster, there were calls for increased safety measures, for better weather forecasting, for stricter permitting processes, for mandatory avalanche training. But the mountains, by their very nature, are unpredictable. They are places of beauty and wonder, but also places of inherent danger. The 1990 Lenin Peak Disaster served as a tragic reminder of this delicate balance. It forced climbers to confront their own mortality, to acknowledge the risks they take in pursuit of their passion. The tragedy also highlighted the deep bond that exists between climbers. In the face of adversity, they came together to support each other, to share their grief, to honor the memory of their fallen comrades. The spirit of adventure, the allure of the mountains, could not be extinguished. But it was tempered by a newfound respect for the power of nature. Section 7. Climbing On, a legacy of courage and caution. The 1990 Lenin Peak Disaster cast a long shadow over the mountaineering world. But it did not deter climbers from seeking out new challenges, from testing their limits, from pushing the boundaries of human endurance. The mountains continued to beckon, their peaks shrouded in mist and mystery. The climbers who perished on that fateful night would not be forgotten. Their memory lived on in the hearts of those who knew them, and in the lessons learned from their tragic fate. The 1990 Lenin Peak Disaster serves as a stark reminder of the delicate balance between human ambition and the power of nature. It is a story of tragedy and loss, but also a story of courage, resilience, and the enduring spirit of adventure that drives us to explore the most unforgiving corners of our planet. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Infinity for more incredible true stories from history and beyond. See you in the next video.